America. Today is the broadcasting program for the Buddhasasana program from the Cambodian Buddhist Monk Society in USA that broadcasting every week. That is on Saturday. Today is Saturday, February 20, 2021. That we are on our show program, Buddhasasana program. That our topic is an introduction to Buddhism in India. So today is I'm not supposed to be a moderator that to deliver the questions to our distinguished speakers, but Venerable Maniputta Chanthy was busy with his duty at ceremony hall, so he cannot join today, and I do apologize for being late by broadcasting. But now the time's going up, then we will talk about Buddhism in India, that we have our distinguished speaker, Venerable Dr. Dary from New Delhi, India. I would like to pay deep respect to you, the most Venerable Doctor. Venerable Dr. Dary was born in Polio province in Cambodia Kram, that present day we call Southern Vietnam. And he moved to Cambodia in Takao province and ordained as novice and become a Bhikkhu since 1997. And he got his MA, master degrees, and MPhil, Master of Philosophy, and PhD in the Buddhist study, University of India. And now presently he resided in India, New Delhi. So thank you very much, most Venerable, that join us today for our programs of Buddhasasana program that will talk about Buddhism in India. Actually, Buddhism is already established in India, we all know, but we will discuss some critical critical views that relating to Buddhism in India. That now, first of all, I would like to invite you to say something about India today, that what is the climate in India, and how India affected by present coronavirus that spread over the world. So what is situation over there? So, and your your situation also, please, Bante.
At first, I would like to pay my veneration to the Buddha, his noble teachings, the Dhamma, and the order of the community, the Sangha, and my respect to most Venerable President of Cambodian Buddhist Sangha in USA, and my respect to Venerable Dhamma friend, Moderator, Venerable Dhammasiri, Chanthy, and a very good morning to all listeners. It is a great pleasure to participate in this program on the introduction to Buddhism in India. And thank you so much for a very good question about the present situation in India.
Yeah.
For the current COVID-19 in India, it seems to stable. It means under control in India.
That's good.
Yeah, not much about the infection rate, like the government brought it under control.
Yeah.
Especially in my place. Before, the infection around 6,000 or 7,000 per day, but now around 150 or 160 the infection. And for me also it's fine.
That's great, Bante.
Yeah.
So how many monks living together with you right now in your temple?
Pardon me?
How many monks living with you right now in the Buddhist temple in India?
Or in the Cambodian temple. Now, right now we have 5 monks, resident monk in Cambodian temple. We're staying together since the pandemic outbreak. But
so
they all still here.
How about school situation? Most of Cambodian monks who resided in India because of their education. So now in the pandemic time, so what is the situations over there about your education? They close the schools or you can go to the school, or what you do about your education?
We don't have class Venerable. Yeah, nowadays they all close for school institution. Not often, but most monks they taking the class online.
Okay, I see. Yeah, thank you very much for the first start of our program regarding the present situation in India. That it's not only India, but also over the world, that people are scared and fear from the coronavirus or the COVID-19. So now, Venerable Doctor, so now we come to our topic, that today we are going to discuss about Buddhism in India. So we all know, but Buddhism originated from India, but now we seem understand that not many people in India are Buddhist. So India's like Hindus or Muslim countries. So can you tell us, so the population of Buddhist people in India? So can you imagine, or can you tell us about the percent, how many percent, or how many population of Buddhists in India?
Yes, as Venerable Dhammasiri mentioned, India, the original land of Buddhism, but for today, for present time, is no more Buddhism. Buddhism just only a minority religion in India among the population. Indian population 1,450. Buddhist population, according to the 2011 census by the Indian government, there are 8.5 million Buddhist population in India. I mean, just a small amount.
It is very small amount if we compare to the Indian population. So how much the Indian population right now?
1,450,000,000 Venerable is Indian population, and mostly they follow Hinduism and Islam and Sikhism. But for Indian Buddhist population is very less.
Yeah, just only 8 million. So it is
8.4 million.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it is also good that we take a Buddhist perspective toward to India, because India we have many things that Buddhism's left behind. So started to the Buddha's times that we want to know when Buddhism started in India, and why Buddhism started in India, why the Buddha choose India to establish his Buddhasasana. And at that time, India was what India was called. It is called India or called some other name. So when Buddhism started, Bante?
Around 6th century BC, Buddhism appeared in India. 6th century BC, Buddhism appeared in India, as we all know, is by the historical founder, the Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, in India, 6th century. And why India? According to Buddhist tradition, India in the Buddha time, we call Champu Tvipa. Champu Tvipa is Pali word or Sanskrit Champu Tvipa. It is according to Buddhist tradition, India is the middle land. That's why for all the Buddha in this earth, only got enlightenment only in India. That's why it's not outside India, only in India, especially under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. Is the place for all the Buddha to take enlightenment. And in the Buddha time, as I just mentioned, is called India called Champu Tvipa. In India for there.
So can you introduce a little bit background about before Siddhartha Gautama become a Buddha? So what his biography is, just a little bit that to renounce to the people that who doesn't know, who did not know about the background of the Buddha. So was the Buddha were born, and India at that time. Can you mention how large is India, and how many state or realms of state in Buddha's time?
Thank you so much, Vanley. The Buddha was born in the Sakya kingdom. It's the foothill of the Himalayan region. In nowadays, it's Nepal. It's not so far from Indian border, around 27 kilometers. The Buddha was born in the Sakya kingdom. His father named Siddhartha Gautama, and his mother Mahamaya Devi. He was born in the Sakya kingdom and grew up there in the luxury life, and he got married to his cousin Yasodhara and had a son named Rahula. After he went outside of his palace, he saw the four sides of life. Is first the old man, and he thought to himself, he also will get old like that man. And second time he saw the sixth man, and he also thought to himself, one day he himself also will become sick like that man, and the third time he saw a corpse or the dead body, he also thought to himself, he also one day, or even his relatives, his beloved wife, beloved son and father also died the same that case. And finally he saw a recluse, that means a mendicant with the peaceful countenance, and he went back to his palace and make a decision. He had to live this worldly life to become the mendicant like that man. That's why on the full moon day, one night he left his palace to become a mendicant, traveling around the ancient India of Magadha in eastern India. He became a mendicant and wandering to study with the Kalama and Uttaka Ramapotta, but he couldn't find the truth, what he sought for. Finally, he left both of them and to practice austerity, that in Pali we call Tukrakiriya, at the foothill of a mountain not so far from Neranjara. For at least 6 years, he practiced austerity, but couldn't find the enlightenment. That means very extreme, but he couldn't find enlightenment. Finally, he gave up that extreme path and follow the middle path on the full moon day of Vesakha. Under the Bodhi tree, he found the enlightenment and become a Buddha. Under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. So I just give you a short one there.
Thank you very much, Bante, about the brief introductions about the Buddha's background from the very beginning. Bante, this is very critical question and controversies among the dates of the Buddha's birthday, that many scholars, especially the Western and Northern scholar, mentions about the different dates and times of the Buddha's birthday. So can you give us the exact time of the Buddha's birthday?
Till nowadays, we have no exact date of the Buddha. As you just briefer, Venerable, we don't have even in the Western country, because the life of the Buddha is still a big controversy, especially in the Western cycle. Still a controversy. We don't have exact date of the Buddha. Yes, just like in Chinese chronology, or in Sri Lanka Chronicle, the Mahavamsa, the Great Chronicle, also is mentioned different. That's why we don't have the exact date of the Buddha. It's just a little different. That's why it's not exact date.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bante. I was also wondering that about the many scholars that introduce about the Buddha's time differently according to the religious modernization, especially in the Mahayana and Tantrayana Buddhism, that they introduce the Buddha's birth times and the Buddha's passing Mahaparinibbana is in different way. But according to our Theravada Buddhism, we still believe that the Buddha, as the Prince Siddhartha, was born in 623 BC. So it means in 7th century BC. That is evident in many Buddhist Theravada Buddhist scripture, especially in the 2,500 years of Buddhism that published by Indian governments, that published in 1956, that introduced the exact dates of 623 year before Christ. And also the evidence of the archaeological site that we discover in Nepal today in Lumpini, that was discovered, and we do a fossil, we understand they assumes that the Buddha was born at 623 years before Christ. So this is just only the short and exact introduction, because when we read many scripture and many books about the Buddha's life, especially in Mahayana tradition, there are lots of learner and scholar introduced into Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhist scholar, and they wrote many things about the Buddhism and philosophy. And also in India at that time, as we know about our research. So at the Buddha's time, there are 16, we can say 16 realm or 16 states of in India at that time. And maybe at that time, the Sakyan, as Bante mentioned, is just only a small kingdom, or in the book described by Indian government, they say that just a republic, a small republic at that time. Yeah. So age of 16 are realms and 8 are republics, and the more powerful at that time was Magadha and Kausala of the king Prasenajit or Prasenati Koshala and Bimbisara and Ajatasattu. So at that time, one day after Buddha enlightened, you was talking about his searching truth, that he was seeing the 4 signs of old man and sickness man and dead man, and also the recluse, the Brahmana, or the monks that live the worldly things and become very peaceful men. And the only way, only sign that he hoped that he will find the truth, he will find the cessations of the suffering. So he left his palace and to becomes an ascetic, and he met Alara Kalama as his teachers, and also Udagarama Putra as his teacher also, but still he cannot find the truth, and he decided to practice by himself asterism or Tugrakiriya, asterism to make his body difficult, but even though he cannot find, so he decided to practice the middle way, the Majjhima Padipada. It is the middle way. So Bante, after his enlightenment, as I know that at that time there are many religious thinkers, many religious leaders, and it is not easy to introduce Buddhism at that time. So can you tell us how the Buddha introduced his first religion, his religions to Indian at that time, amongst many religions and critical thinkers?
Yes, as Venerable just mentioned in detail after the Buddha enlightenment, as you mentioned, is true. Is for the Buddha, it's very like a hard task for him to propagate his newly found teachings.
Yeah.
After his enlightenment, he spent several weeks around the Bodhi tree, and later on, in fact, the Buddha he didn't want to share his newly teachings. The kind of reluctant, because he thought to himself, whatever he just enlightened is not easy for the normal person to catch up his teachings. according to the tradition, at that time, Brahma, there's a Brahma, Sahampati Brahma, like he knew the thought of the Buddha, then he appeared along with many Brahma, came to the Buddha to pay obeisance, to pay respect the Buddha, and he implored the Buddha, please enlighten one, the worldly honor one, share your newly teaching, to the world, because in the world there is also some human being, they could get enlightenment from your teachings, and by that thing, the Buddha accepted the Brahma invitation to teaching to the world. And at first he sought to his former two teachers, Uttaka Ramapatta and Kalama. But he knew that both of them already passed away and born in the formless realm or formless world. And then he sought to his five companion, Panjavakiya, Tapasa, those who attended him when he practiced austerity. Then from Bodh Gaya, he traveled to Saranath, because the Buddha, he knew that five companion, Panjavakiya, Tapasa, resided there when five of them left him in Uruvela Patesa. So the Buddha, from there, he walked by foot around over 254 kilometers. Took the Buddha time 11 days to the Saranath. So the Buddha walked from Bodh Gaya to Saranath for 11 days. And finally, the Buddha met his five former companions. At first, five of them also is still hesitant to welcome his their former teacher, because they thought maybe the Gotama, Siddhartha Gotama, couldn't find the enlightenment. They still reluctant, but finally they saw his manner or his countenance. They couldn't accept him, so they welcome him. One person have him to take the rope or take the arm bows, but first five of them addressed to the Buddha just only the normal name, and the Buddha, in order to teach the Dhamma to them, just tell them have to listen carefully. Now I am no more a normal person, I am the enlightened one, the exalted one. So five of them listen to the Buddha teaching. That means the Buddha then delivered the very famous Dhamma to them, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta in Saranath. And by that time on, the Buddha recite 12 the first training retreat in Saranath. It's for one year. The Buddha stayed there, Venerable.
Thank you very much, Bante. It is very interesting introductions about how the Buddha introduced his first teaching to his friend, or the five ascetics, or we call Panjavakiya. It is very interesting and very critical question, also related to how Buddha introduced his first sermon or first teaching to those five, because as you mentioned, that five ascetics was his friends and close friends, and he ordained as the tapasa or hermit also because of because of the Siddhartha or the Siddhartha Gautama, but because of unconfident or did not have more belief with Siddhartha, and they left our Siddhartha and to practice by themselves. And because they practice in Upanishad at that time, Upanishad tradition amongst the Brahmanism. So the Buddha mentioned clearly about his enlightenment and asked those five ascetics not to call him by the normal name, so must call him as the Buddha because he enlightened. And as you mentioned, it's not easy to convey that five ascetics. So he walked from distance, from distance to the place and teach the first sermon called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, or the discourses on the turning the wheels of Dhamma. So Bhante, this is very deep, that as you mentioned before, the Buddha enlightened and discovers the very deep understanding, very deep philosophical teaching and absolute teaching in that he never known before. Before his enlightenment. So now, what are those main teaching in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra that mentioned first to the five ascetics? So what is the main points and what is the main teaching in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra?
Yeah, thank you so much, Venerable. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, at first the Buddha just tell his five companions, the Panjavakya Bhikkhu, about the two extremists.
So what are those extremists?
The two extremists like the Attakalamatthanu Yoga and Kamasukha Yoga.
So what is the Attakalamatthanu Yoga? And so what they practice? Why the Buddha said that it is the extreme one?
The Attakalamatthanu Yoga is like in the past for the Buddha himself. He's practiced very extremely, very hard, like make his body weak or not take the food at all. That means it's the wrong way. That's why the Buddha told them, don't follow that way. It's that way. It's the newborn one. Yeah, it's not the Arya part. It's the newborn one. Is extremely that could not find the enlightenment about this Kamasukha Yoga. That means like this kind of sense of pleasure. It's also it's not the way for the ascetic to practice that way. If we live always like the luxury, also it couldn't find the enlightenment. By that two way, the Buddha advise the five ascetic must give up those way. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta.
Can you give the example? Why self-mortification or Attakalamatthana Yoga and Kamasukha Yoga self-indulgence is the extreme, and if the monks or ascetic or someone who are indulgent or practice along these two extremes cannot reach the goal or cannot enlighten, why these two extreme reluctant or grasp or make those practitioners cannot realize the truth?
That two way, in fact, like self-indulgent, Kamasukha Yoga, that self-indulgent karma sukhalinkan yogas. Why the Buddha he advised not to follow that path, because that path couldn't find couldn't find the enlightenment, couldn't find the tranquility, because it's overjoyed in the sense of pleasure. It's not the part of the ascetic. If we always live in the five senses, like the Panya Kama Kuna, that couldn't find the enlightenment. So beside that, the two extremists, the Buddha advised his five companions to follow the middle path. Just you mentioned Conte about the Majjhima Padepata.
Yeah. Okay. I understand about what you have talk about two extremes that the Buddha mentioned. The Buddhas asked the five ascetics to dispel or to get away from these two extremes, because at that time the Buddha himself already practiced through these two extremes, like Kamasukhaligana Yoga. In self-indulgence, he was living in the palace for almost 29 years, and even though he wanted to search for the truth and to get rid of all the suffering, but he cannot, because this is five sense of pleasures, like something to covers the human minds, like the Buddha mentioned in Majjhima Nikaya mini sutras about how the five sense of pleasure cover the mind with avijja or ignorance, that we living see the truth clearly. Yeah, so it is like the water, the clear water. Then we put some color into the water that we cannot see the glass clearly. So it is the examples, and also self-mortification or Atthakalematthana yoga. It is also the extreme way that you mentioned, to make the minds not in one pointedness, because when the body suffer too much, so when our body suffer too much, so we cannot have a one pointedness, or one our mind cannot concentrate on on object. So when the mind cannot concentrate on one object, so we cannot understand clearly what are they. So the Buddha give an example like the spoiled water. So the water when very hot, so it's spoiling. So it is we cannot find the clear bottoms of the jars also, because of spoiling water. So this is two extreme that are very hard to understand, and also the Buddha asked five ascetics to get away. So Venerable mentioned about Buddha asked five ascetics to get out from these two extremes, and ask them to going or to practice the middle path. So what are those middle paths that the Buddha mentioned in order to get rid of all suffering? So can you give it briefly?
Yeah, to avoid the two extremists path, the Buddha exhorted his five companions to follow the Noble Eightfold Path, the Pali Ariya Atthangika Maggo. That means Samma Titti. The first one, right understanding. Yes, Samma Sankappa, the right thought. Samma Titti, Samma Sankappa, and Samma Vacha. Yeah, right speaks. Samma Kammanta, right action, and Samma Vayamo, right effort, and sati, right mindfulness, and samadhi, right concentration. Yeah, the Buddha exhorted all people, all human beings, in order to find enlightenment, must follow that path. It's only the merely path to get enlightenment. Without this path, human being impossible to get enlightenment without the noble eightfold paths. Venerable.
Thank you. The Noble Eightfold Paths, as you mentioned, from right view, right action, right speak, until right concentration, it is among the Four Noble Truths that the Buddha mentioned about the Four Noble Truths. And we all, the Buddhists, know already about the Four Noble Truths, about the suffering, and the origination of sufferings and cessation of suffering, and the path to get rid of suffering. So, but it is very, very deep, the Buddha's teachings, and the first teaching also. And among five ascetics, as we know, that only one, the Gondanians, has understood his teaching, and become his first disciples and ordained as monks. And the Buddha tried to teach again and again the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta to to make all five ascetics understand clearly. And as you mentioned, the Buddha stayed there for one vassa or one retreat session. It is about resided, and after that, the Buddha was sent his first missionary to proclaim or to propagate his dispensation. So Bhante, it is difficult. What are any challenges among the Buddha propagation to Indian people at that time?
Yeah, that is a big challenges for the Buddha and his educated disciple. Yeah, including the Buddha also 61, right? Yeah. After the Vasa, as you just mentioned, he sent his we can say the educated, the Arahanta disciple to different parts of India to propagate his teaching. The big challenges for the Buddha and his disciple, because at that time, before or in the time of the Buddha, Brahmanism, that nowadays we call Hinduism, are already prevalent. There, at that time, already Hinduism is very popular among the Indian people. That's why, in order to show his new teaching, but for the Buddha is, in my opinion, it's not difficult for him, because the Buddha, he many skillful means to transfer his teaching to the people. But for the Buddha, he could do that. At first, the Buddha is not go to the normal, the ordinary people, but he went to the leader of that state, of that country, like after the rainy retreat, first rainy retreat, the Buddha from Saranath, he went back to Uruvela, Patesa. First he met the three ascetic, the three ascetic, like Uruvela Kassapa and Nati Kassapa and Kaya Kassapa. With their disciple, the Buddha persuaded them, convinced them to accept his new teaching, and they all became his disciple. After that, they all together travel to set our journey to the great kingdom, the Makatha kingdom, to meet the King Pumpisara. For the Buddha, he meet King Pumpisara. After, he also deliver Dhamma talk to the king and his retinue, all to believe his teaching. Then is the beginning of the dispensation or of the propagation of the Buddha teaching from the Makatha kingdom, Venerable.
You come to the point one day that I want to indicate about the controversy and challenges that the Buddha have to the Buddha introduced his Buddhasasana or the Buddhist dispensation. As we know that before Buddha become enlightenment, he promised to teach first Dhamma to the King Bimbisara of Magadha, but after he enlightened, why he not go directly to the King Bimbisara? Why he went to his friends, five ascetics, and also the three brothers of Kashyapa and other, and then finally he went to Magadha kingdom to teach his Dhamma to the king of Magadha, Bimbisara. So you mentioned the point about this a long way from Saranath to Magadha kingdom. So why the Buddha went through this disciple? Why he did not go direct to the king?
Yeah, thank you, Venerable. Yeah, it's very good point too. Yeah, like the broken promise, right? But in fact, it's not like that. It's for the Buddha. He didn't break the promise with the King Pumbisara. Yeah. In the early time, when the Buddha became the ascetic or the mendicant, he used to meet the King Pumbisara at the Makatha kingdom, and after they exchange the warm words with each other, and the King Pumbisara came to know him is the prince from Sakya kingdom, and they also very close friends together. And King Pumbisara even wanted to share his kingdom half to the Siddhartha Gautama, but the Buddha at that time refused to accept the kind offering by the king. His only aim is to find the truth. Because he already gave up his worldly life and to become a homeless person. And by his resolute decision, King Pumbisara just begged him, Venerable Sir, after you got enlightenment, please come to to give me the Dhamma talk first, before everyone. But as you just raised up the question, why the Buddha not after his enlightenment, and he decided to preach the Dhamma to the world, why not directly went from Bodh Gaya to Makatha kingdom to take the king, the newly Dhamma, the new Dhamma? Why he had to go to Saranath? By the Buddha, he knew that the king is not the time for the king yet. Even at that time, if the Buddha he went to meet the king also cannot properly understand his teaching. because his 5 companions, 5 ascetic, 5 friends would be easily to enlighten his teaching. That's why the Buddha he didn't go to meet the king at that time. At first, he just went to see his 5 companions and also to taught the Dhamma to the 3 brothers. Because there is a connection also here. The 3 brothers also they had the great influence to the Makatha kingdom. Yeah, they also used to be the minister in the Makatha kingdom, and their name also, their reputation also well known among the Makatha people. Even the king also respect them. In the story, especially in Cambodian language, we all must know the history of them after the Buddha and his new disciple together. They set our journey to see the king Pompisara and his retinues. Those people also, even the king, still reluctant to accept who is the chief, who is who is the teacher. Yeah, but the Buddha just give the Uruvela Kassapa, to show who is the real teacher. That means who is the real man here. And finally, King Pompisara, he came to know, is the Buddha is the real boss, the real teacher. That's why it's easily for him to pay attention to the Buddha teaching. And finally, he also entered the first realm, or the Sotapanna, became Sotapanna along with his retinues. That is the case for the Buddha. Didn't come to see the king first after enlightenment. So I just give you the short explanation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bante. This is very main point that all people, especially our Buddhist people, must know, because why the Buddha not direct to the king, and the Buddha went to Sarnath because of 5 ascetic. So as you mentioned, everything is clearly that the Buddha will the Buddha first avoid behind speaking, because if he went direct to the king, so his reputation also will not well known. Maybe 5 ascetic will say something bad about him. Oh, I don't believe this man because I live for him with him for many times, all the ways, and also I know him from the birds. That he is not useful man. He is the very coward man, and he's not the effort man. So the 5 aspects, the Panchivaki can say something bad about the Buddha if the Buddha direct to the to teach the first Dhamma to others rather than those. So 5 ascetic is very and he also will understand clearly. If we say in deep about the Theravada Buddhist canon, so the Anya Kondanya is the first man who will enlighten the truth after the Buddha. So we believe that karma that he has accumulated, but because but we can say to release the bad reputations of the Buddha. So the Buddha went to Sarnath and teach the first sermon. And also, as you mentioned, it's the most important thing that the Buddha went to Gayasisa Pradesh to teach the Atita Parayaya Sutra to those 1,000 ascetics, or the Kashyapa, that the 3 brothers that was the main force to establish or to propagate the Buddha's teaching, because all the Magadan the Magadhan people or Magadha kingdom respect those three brothers, and they respect as the holy man, as the arahant, as the supreme teacher, supreme ministers of the country. So if the Buddha avoid them and go direct to the king, so three brothers, so maybe cannot maybe it's not come not approach the Buddhas and ask to listen to the Dhamma. So that's why he went to those brothers and avoid his fame, and then went to kingdom of the Bimbisara together, and all the Buddhists, all the peoples in Magadha listen to the Dhamma properly. So this is why the Buddha went to Saranath, and then he sent his first missionary. He sent those 60 disciples, including the 5 ascetic and 55 Yasa friends with the Yasa Kulaputra, and then he teach. He himself went back to the Uruvela Senanigama. So this is the main point. So Bante, after after the Buddha have released his promise to the king Bimbisara, and he also established the first regulations about the we call Chaturanga Sena, or the first great assemblies of the Buddha. He read he let down the constitution in Buddhism. So after that, this 1,000 monks blast for 250 from Sariputta and Moggallana as the main force to propagate Buddhism. So Buddhism was so very powerful at that time. The king of Magadha, the king of Kaushala, and some other king believe and become a Buddhist and support Buddhism. So this is also that I asked you before, the very big challenges about the Brahmanas and Jainisms. Like at that time, there are many religions, right? Then many religious leaders also at that time, like Niganthanatha Buddha or Purnakasapa or Makli Kosala or Sanjivela Buddha, the teachers of Sariputta and Moggallana. So those guru or those teachers lost their gain, lost their fame. So that is very big challenge. So I just want to ask you one big question. So now the time is also up. So how many years that Buddhism still flourish, still gain a powerful in India? So can you tell us from the very powerful when the Buddha's present until the Buddha's demise, and how long Buddhism can last in India?
It's over 1,500 years Venerable. Buddhism flourished in India. 1,500 years since the Buddha time till the gradual decline or completely extinction from India since the Buddha time, around 1,500 years from 12th century CE plus
what
around
is the main reason to make Buddhism decline from India?
It's also a very good topic, a good question, right?
Yeah.
The decline of Buddhism in India. It took a very long time for Buddhism decline of India, but the main point how Buddhism decline in India, there are many scholars also, they focus on that point as their research. In Buddhism, as for us like Theravada Buddhism, sometimes we rely on the dream of the king Vasenati Kausala. That's one dream, right, Venerable?
Yeah.
One point of the dream, yeah, of the king. He saw the deer came to drink the water at a pond, but that pond or well is not make polluted near the food of the animal, but inside. Yeah, we believe that. But for the scholarly way how Buddhism declined in India, it take a very long time for Buddhism to disappear completely in India around 12th century, 1200 like that. Buddhism completely declined of India. There are many main reasons for Buddhism to decline in India. The first thing for the Sangha themselves about the corrupt practice, because Buddhism mostly depend the financial support from the rulers of the country. Yeah, they have the Sangha have the monks at that time, especially in the eastern and northern India. Monks also had a very big land because of the land leased by the king. And in India, it's after the Buddha, like the 5th, 6th, or 7th century, it's not so stable, because sometimes the invasion from foreign forces like the Islam from Mongolia or from Central Asia, yeah, they invaded India. That also the one of the factor that caused the decline of Buddhism in India. And as I mentioned a moment ago, especially the corrupt practice of the monk, because at that time there are many Nikayas. The school of Buddhism appear after the second or third Buddhist council. Many Nikaya Buddhism appear at that time, and it's not like the Theravada. We have Mahayana also, and they practice. The way of their practice is not so different from Hinduism. They have devotion, like the kind of praying, the kind of magic that also that caused Buddhism decline in India. But the most important thing for the decline of Buddhism in India is by the external forces, especially the Muslim invasion. Yeah, there is on the record, on historical record, by one Muslim general who destroyed the large Buddhist institution Nalanda or Otanta Puri or Vikramasila. Is very famous at that time, Venerable, for the Buddhist institution, because there are many monks and nuns and Buddhist students join the course of study there. But finally, they couldn't stand the invasion of the Muslim invasion. Yeah, that's why it is the thing to make Buddhism disappear from India. By the Muslim invasion, and also by Hindu. Yeah, the Hindu also is there.
Yeah, it is very interesting that Buddhism declined from India because of both the internal and external force, power from outside and inside, as you mentioned. Especially it's about the corrupted practice among the Sangha community. As you mentioned about the after the first second Buddhist council, so there are many Nikaya or schools of Buddhism appeared, and this is the way how they practice, and many Nikaya practice differently. So it is also the main point. I accept that, and external powers like the Muslim and Hindu invasion, as I remember, I'm not sure about the century, but in the ranks of the Andhra and Sangha dynasty, the king asked the minister how India was very famous, and how they practice and how they follow, and the king, the minister mentioned about Ashoka kingdom was very famous among the king in Indian traditions, Indian history. So they want to practice Buddhism. The king want to practice Buddhism, but all ministers are the Brahmin. They believe in Buddhism, so they just make a fake Buddhism to the king. So all Buddhist practice, like Hindu practice, like magical and Tantra. That's why Tantra's Buddhism is established at that time. So it is very. It is also in Pala dynasty. The Pala dynasty that you say about the Otantapuri. Yeah, Otantapuri established before the Pala king, but the Pala king also support that school, that practice, and also you mentioned about the Nalanda and Vikramasila. It is among the 6th to 8th century. Century AD. So it is very important that the Muslim come to the invasion in, as we know, maybe we know in 1197, it's mean in the 12th century, to invade the Indian and Bengals, Bangladesh present day, and destroys all the Buddhist scripture and infrastructure, temples, and kill the monks and Buddhists. So they fled from India to Tibet and to other parts of the country, like in South India, example. So it is very meaningful that you mentioned about it. So I don't have much more time to ask you, but I still want to know about what Buddha or as well as Buddhism left for legacy to Indian nation and the world. So as we can see today.
The Buddha left a very great impact on Indian society, especially among the intellectual, among the intelligentsia, about the system of governance. Yeah, the Buddha left a very great impact. Even today, not many Indians knew or know what is Buddhism. Yeah. When I came to India in 2004, there's not many Indian familiar with Buddhism. They thought to us as a monk, like the beggar.
Yeah.
They don't know much. For the ordinary people, they don't know what is Buddhism, what is monk, like that. Even Buddhism originated in their country, but among the system of governance is very great impact led by the Buddha, like the great father of India, Mahatma Gandhi also.
Referring to the government, so I just heard, I don't know it is exactly because I did not read it. I heard that in Indian Parliament there is the Buddha status, and the Indian constitutions also have related to Buddhism. So what do you think?
Yeah, that exactly, Venerable. You mentioned is real, especially on the Indian constitution. Because one of the founder of the one of the writers of Indian Constitution, he's a Buddhist. A very famous man is Dr. Ambedkar. He is a Buddhist converted Buddhist. Yeah, many things in Constitution mentioned, like the equality, among the people, among the rest. Among the people in India is one point, and also is like the non-violent way, and about the charity. Yeah, they mentioned in the constitution, Indian must have Indian. It's just a small point.
Yeah.
But in And one thing, the Buddha statue, yeah, also right. They install the Buddha statue in the parliament, and most important government building also they have very colossal Buddha image in
Monday.
India.
I have some friends who were study with me in Sri Lanka last over 10, 15 years already. So when I said about India, so when we all know when we say India, we remember Mahatma Gandhi, right? But there was a friend of mine, Venerable, I think Devananda. He is Indian, a monk.
Wow.
When I said about the Mahatma Gandhi, he rejects everything. So I just want to ask you that why they select the Buddhist writer as one of the writers of Constitution of India? So why Muslim and Hindu at that time also was very powerful after the British invasion. So after getting independence, so Hindus from Mahatma Gandhi side and Muslim also was very powerful. Why they don't select Hindus or Muslim? Why they select Hinduism from America?
Maybe because of Dr. Ambedkar's educational background. He maybe you know about Ambedkar. He graduated in doctor in law from England, and also economic from America. His background also is the one thing, but it's only him alone is Buddhist. And it's not him alone to write the constitution. There's many other person also, maybe their background is not Buddhist. They can be Hindu.
But according to Indian constitutions that mention mostly related to the Buddha's code of morality, right?
Yeah.
So in this controversy, so some believe that some history background, they suppose that Hinduism and Muslim also want to migrate, want to integrate their religious teaching to Indian constitution. As we know, Hinduism and Muslim, they practice the very extreme, right? Very extreme, and they want many people practice, follow his religion only, their religions only, so don't practice other religions, so something like that. But Buddhism, right, just the middle way, so nothing discrimination about the race, religions, or some other thinking. So that's why they select the Buddhism as a middle way that we talk about Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So according to this thing, so Bante, do you think that Buddhism will be flourish again in India anytime in the future?
In my perspective, I think it's impossible one day for Indian society.
What is the reason that it's impossible that Buddhism cannot go back to India?
It can, but it's not anymore a popular or major religion in India again, because the Indian people mostly they follow Hinduism, almost 1 billion. For the current for the recent census by Register Office of Indian Hindu population, almost 1 billion.
Why practicing Hinduism is the born practicing or converted?
Right. From there is almost born practicing people for Hinduism, and they also, it's not easy to change their belief from this religion to other religion. Mostly Buddhist population in India is from the intouchable or the low caste people.
Don't you think anybody in the future, the wise man or the in Cambodia, we always say Dhammika. Yeah, Dhammika, or the wise man come to explain them to change the religions to believe to practice Buddhism again.
That happened only one time. The Buddha and Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar is the Dhammika person. It's him who introduced Buddhism to India. It's him and many other person also like Anagarika Thamapala have to bring back Buddhism. But the most famous person is Dr. Ambedkar. Among Indian Buddhist population, they regarded him like a bodhisattva, like the second Buddha to them. Yeah, Dr. Ambedkar. But in the near future, I don't see any person have have the ability like him, Dr. Ambedkar.
Okay, Monday. We if someone that went to New Delhi or India, when we will see the status of Dr. Ambedkar, in front of the Parliament. So the very famous one. And the final question for today for you, that you travel a lot with pilgrimage to Buddha side, and to respect and to bring introduce our people to visit the Buddha's birthplace, Buddha enlightened place, and the Buddha Parinibbana place, and some other places in India. So those places is exactly the Buddha's site that even the government accepted as the Buddha's legacy. So when we visited, as you live there nearly 20 years, so when you arrive there, when you visit the Buddha's place, so what is the mind? What the Hindus and Muslims say about those Buddhist sites?
For the Muslim, they don't intervene in our Buddhist holy places, holy site. But for Hindu, sometimes they claim that site is belong to them. You may remember, Venerable, the place where our Buddha practice austerity at the foothill of mountain Tungkaswari. See one side or some other places also. When you come here, you may see, you may have seen. One side is Buddha image, Buddha statue, and one side they also just installed a newly installed Hindu idol or Hindu god image. They just installed it. That means the kind of encroach to our Buddhist holy site. That is, they also claim is belong to them, because in their country, not our country, not Buddhist country. That's why they have the right to do so. Or even in the place where the Buddha he ascended from, the Tavatangsa, Sankasa. It's at one small hill. It's also nowadays occupied by them. They install their god there. They put their Hindu god. At the side, it's no any Buddhist, no any Buddha image. When we come there to pray, we just pray, send our mind to the Buddha, dedicated our mind. It's many places Venerable. Even the Bodh Gaya Mahapodhi temple also. They believe that Hindu, some built by the Hindu king. Many Indian, maybe our time is constrained, right?
It's okay.
Limited time. Many Indian they believe the Buddha is also like their god. That's why people who come to Bodh Gaya Mahapodhi temple is not only Buddhist, also Hindu people. Hindu believers, they come to pay their respect there. Venerable, it's the kind of thing in Buddhist holy site.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bante, for your time, the very valuable time. And we discussed almost 1 hour last, so about the Buddhism in India, about the origins, about the time we talk about the time of the Prince Siddhartha born in 623 BC. It means before Christ, and also the Buddha was enlightened and introduced his first teaching to the 5 ascetics, and also he went back to the Magadha kingdoms to release his promise to the king Bimbisara with the accompanies of the 3 brothers for the 1,000 ascetics, and also he converted the Sariputta and Moggallana and his 250 friends, and also he introduced his teaching among Indians at that time about the 16 states, and he went almost 14 states and introduced his teaching among men, and finally he demised and his religions, his teaching flourished in India, as you say, about 1,500 years. So the Buddhism declined from India in 1197. So by the Muslim Mohammedans to invade India and Bangladesh at that time and destroys all the Buddhist institutions, examples the Nalanda University, Vikramasila, and amongst all Buddhist monks and Buddhist people fled to Tibet and Orissa, Assam, and South Indian and Sri Lanka example. So Buddhism flourished there, and also we discussed Buddha, and Buddhism left many legacies to Indian nation and the world, like his size of birth and Parinibbana example, and also his followers like Dr. Ambedkar have introduced Buddhism back to India, and Anagarika Dhammapala also introduced the Mahabodhi Society. We don't forget the Mahabodhi Society by Anagarika Dhammapala, who introduced who bring back the Buddhism and challenge to get the Buddha Gaya as the Buddhist Buddhicize, and we control until now. And the last point that we discussed about bringing Buddhism back to India, many scholars and many Buddhist people, example the Tripitaka chanting every year led by Mrs. Wang Modisi, the president of the International Buddhist Alliance of International Buddhist Associations of Americas, and the president of Dhamma College in Berkeley University, Berkeley, California. Example, she tried to bring the Buddha Dhamma to the Buddha's land again in order to promote the Buddha's teaching. But that you say is impossible that Buddhism will flourish again. But until we have a wise man to introduce the Buddhism, and also Buddhism flourished among the wise. So unless Indian people did not good educated among the low caste and the low caste of people, so they will not understand what is Buddhism. But among the wise, among the rich people, they believe in Buddhism, and they come back to their religion again because they educated, so they learn. So this is the hope that we have, and all the Buddhists around the world visited India and bring them to see the Buddhas and Buddhism is very valuable to the world until today. So Bante, thank you very much. And do you have any final tip for 1 minute to our audiences?
Yeah, finally, I must thank to Venerable Dhammasiri, the moderator, for inviting me to participate in this very nice program. And please apologize for me too. It's the first time to discuss a talk in English. It's not so fluently or thoroughly. I'm feeling a little nervous. That's why I couldn't speak smoothly. But I must thank you, Venerable Dhammasiri, yes, for inviting me, and also if any point is not satisfied, please the audience and all listener, please pardon me. So I will try to improve myself in the next time program. I will try, because as I said, it's first time for me to speak in English. Here also I joined for the conference, but mostly people they read directly by the paper, not that directly talk like this time. That's why a little nervous for me. So I must thank again for all. Thank you so much, Venerable.
Thank you, Bante, very much. It is usually for me also, I'm not supposed to do a moderator, and also I'm not used to speak on the show like this. So I go to school, but I don't speak much, just only writing. So it is very nervous, very nervous for both of us. And because we call absence of a moderator, Venerable Nipoto Soktivi. So so we try our best. So I do apologize for our our problem of speaking and pronunciation, and maybe the points of discussion. So I do apologize from our audiences, and we will improve, and we will practice more about how to take on the show, how to talk on the show. And I will invite you next program also when we select a suitable topic to speak on the show. So thank you very much, Bante, and I wish you all the best, and
thank you so much.
In India. And also thank you very much for audiences about listening our program, especially the most venerable presidents of the Cambodian Buddhist Monk Society, Venerable Atimony, the president, and also all Venerable Mahasangha and the people who the audiences listening to our show today. So thank wish you all the best and good luck for this time. So I am Bhikkhu Dhammasiri from Arizona, yes, and Venerable Dr. Dary from New Delhi, India. So have to say goodbye and wish all of you the best of the day. Thank you very much.